Do you believe that pigeons potentially could be controlled by the government?
No.
No?
Absolutely not.
They should get all their hair taken away.
So we all rushed over to my bed, at whatever I was
And you
sleeping
pulled
on.
your undies down? Hello and welcome to the Therapy Crouch with me, Abby Clancy.
Me, Peter Crouch.
And our very special guest, the guy I fell in love with on Cooking with the Stars, Christopher Biggins.
How nice to be here.
Finally.
I know. Well, we're all very busy people,
I know.
aren't we?
I've been trying to get you for months.
Yeah, I know. I could say something, but I won't. I'm thrilled to be here. I really am. I love your house. Your house is gorgeous.
Thank you.
Really nice. Those mirrors, did you buy those abroad?
No, they're actually from Versailles. They're original.
Really? Versailles?
Yeah.
My goodness. Where'd you find them? In Versailles? Did you steal them?
Yeah, I just took a truck down there, got in there. No, I've got this guy who sources all things.
Really?
I like me special pieces.
Yeah, no.
Although my kids hate it.
No, I love them. I've been collecting art for 55 years, and we don't know the word in our house, wallpaper, because all we've got is paintings everywhere, and I love them. And what was the one good thing about COVID was the fact that we had to stay home, and I was reminded of all the things I have, which I think you take for granted.
You do.
And so I was reminded about where I bought things, why I bought them, friends painted them. And it's just fantastic. If I hadn't been in the entertainment business, I think I would have been an art dealer.
You still can.
I usually, but no, I'm bored now with it. But it's I still buy things.
A lot of our art away. We've got the most fantastic framer called Marcus. And
Right.
he does all like the frames in themselves are pieces of art. So he's got a load of pictures of ours. But my friend, Liberty, one of my best friends, she got Pete and I, the past few years for our birthday, this artist who paints the sky on the day you were born. And they're just beautiful. And they're tiny little paintings.
How fabulous.
And how gorgeous are they?
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really nice.
absolutely gorgeous.
What was the sky like when you were born?
Black. It pissed down all day.
Pissed down all day. When did this love affair between you two, how did it originate?
Over food.
Over food.
And is it both ways, or do you just love him?
I think it's
it is both
mutual.
ways.
It is both ways.
I think it's
and
mutual.
I think it was because we had it was a celebrity version. There were some strange celebrities, weren't there? And I think we just cottoned on to each other.
Yeah.
And we were on the same wavelength, and it was wonderful right from day one. And so we always had a twinkle and a laugh. And, and everyone else was very serious and cooking properly. And, and I thought, oh dear, this is so boring. People who cook properly. Oh.
Well, it was boring for us because we got voted off week 2 and 3, which in TV terms was day 1 and 2. So we had to sit and watch them all, cook them for the rest of the week.
I know.
Because it was basically a unanimous decision. Well, it was 4 votes to 5 for me to, in the blind cook-off, to win this chocolate fondant thing.
I like the fact that you're not bitter at all.
No, I'm so bitter. Because I didn't want to do it, because when I won Strictly, I thought, I don't want to do another competition again because I've won something.
I know.
And I've never won anything in my life.
It's funny, that's a very good point, because, I did the jungle and I became king of the jungle.
Of course.
And I've been asked to go back and do other shows for the jungle. And I won't do it because I don't want to lose my title. I don't want to be the king that year and then failed, the next 2 years or whatever. And it's important, I think, you hold on to these things.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
And I'm thrilled that I'm king of the jungle. And I will always, I'll go to my dying bed knowing that I was king of the jungle. And it was because I had the most, have you done it?
No.
Did you enjoy the experience?
Oh, honestly, I thought it was the best. I slept so well. It's not true in the open. I mean, the first night when I went to sleep, I thought, will things crawl over me? And of course they do. And things come, because it is a jungle. It is not a set. And I remember one day we were told, will the celebrities be aware that on Biggins' bed there's a snake? So we all rushed over to my bed, at whatever I was
And you
sleeping
pulled
on.
your undies down?
Yeah. And there was this 7-foot snake.
Oh, no.
And we couldn't, because we were all looking for it. We couldn't see it because it was so big. And, you know, it is an incredible experience. Really incredible.
They ask us to do it, don't they? But we're too scared. And I think Pete's too thin. He couldn't afford to lose any weight.
Well, I mean, and of course, the food situation is exactly as you see on television. They don't come with you know, chocolate bars or anything like that. That's it. I knew because they'd always wanted me to do it, and I was always doing pantomime. So they booked me in February to go in November. And so I went on a diet.
Yeah.
I looked after myself in a way that, you know, I thought, well, I'm not going to...
So it wasn't a shock to the system?
No, exactly. And I think that helped enormously. But I think the best thing is the end, when the four of you go up that, you know, sort of mountain and the water comes down and you've got to...
Well, I mean, you just consistently keep going, don't you? Like you love your panto. Where does it start for you?
Well, I started, as I said, 16 years old. I was lucky to be brought up in Salisbury, which had a fantastic theatre, which I used to go to. And when I left school at 16 and a half, I decided that I wanted to leave school. And I went to the local rep and I went to see the manager, Reggie Selberg, who was a brilliant theatrical manager. And I said, can I have a job? And he said, well, you can come for 2 weeks and do a play for us, very slow, and I did. And I stayed for 2 years.
Wow. And
I was on £2 a week for the first year, heavily supported by my family. And then I left, then I had the second year I went up to stage manager and I was on £8 a week, I think it was. Anyway, it was great days. And then there was an actress in the company called Stephanie Cole. Are you familiar with Stephanie Cole?
No.
She's done lots, she's a character actress, done wonderful character actress. And she said, you've got to go to drama school. Now, she went to Bristol Old Vic Theatre School. And so I auditioned for Bristol Old Vic and I went and it was fantastic. I had a wonderful time. People of my own age, we were quite a young group, and there was a boy in the company in drama school who was a lovely boy, and he was a fantastic personality. And you never thought he'd be an actor, you know. I mean, he was just not that type. But he fell in love with a girl who was going to be a fantastic star and a wonderful actress. And they married at drama school, and I was his best man. And I went on the honeymoon with them.
No way.
Yeah, it was, and we had a wonderful time. And then a year later, they split up.
So you got to live happily ever after.
And she went back to her original boyfriend, who was a doctor. She became a doctor's wife. He went on to win an Oscar.
Oh my gosh.
Jeremy Irons.
No
Wow.
way.
I mean, unbelievable. I mean,
Wow.
God, that's amazing.
I know, a really amazing story. And he had a Citroen 2CV. You know those wonderful old French cars? They're like tin cans.
Yeah.
And I sat in the back and we had the roof down and I got terrible sunburn. And I think that's why they divorced a year later, because they had to look after me on their honeymoon. I mean, I was so red, it wasn't true. And for the whole week I lay in bed and they kept coming in and rubbing things on me and giving me cold drinks. But it was great. And I mean, he's extraordinary. I mean, he is a wonderful actor now. You know, he's blossomed into something really special.
When did the first TV roles happen for you and stuff? You know, because obviously, you were in Porridge.
I know, playing Lukewarm the cook.
Yeah,
and,
some mothers do have them. I'll have both of those.
What was that?
Some mothers do have them.
Yeah, I did. As a young actor, you know, you're cheap. And so you get a lot of work, and especially in those days, which were a long time ago. And so, you know, the work was there. And if you had a good agent, they put you up for things. And then what the marvelous thing was, the BBC had a rehearsal room, which was on 9 floors. And each floor had 3 rehearsal rooms. So everything at the BBC was rehearsed there. And at the top, they had a cafe, a restaurant. And so if you were there were other directors who could see you. And they would think, Biggins, that'd be a good idea to have him in this.
Yeah.
So you work. Good
networking.
Exactly. It was amazing. And in fact, some people, it was so good, some people who weren't even working or rehearsing used to go there and sit there to get a job. And it worked, you know, because you were seen. And it was very good days, those days, to get on. But I remember that I did this character in Porridge, which Sid Lotterby, who was the director-producer, gave me. And he was gay. And the character was gay, not Sid Lotterby. And I played a gay man in Doctor at the Sea. And I played him really camp and outrageous, bouffant hair and very lispy and all like that sort of thing. And everyone complained about it. They said, oh, there aren't people like that. Of course, which was ridiculous to say because there are a lot of people like that. But anyway, I decided that with lukewarm, I wouldn't go down that road. The only thing I did was I said I'd like to knit. So I was always knitting in scenes. And last year was the 50th year that Porridge has been on.
That is incredible.
And they brought out stamps, special.
Were you on one?
And I was on one. So that was great. That was really marvelous. But talking of in those days, I did a series called I, Claudius. I played Nero, which I'm really, really proud of. And nowadays, people, funny enough, coming here today, someone asked me to do a television to talk about Nero. And I loved him. And when it was transmitted, the producer of a series called Poldark saw me and rang the producer of I, Claudius and said, look, what's this Biggins like? And he gave me a very good review. But I played the sex-crazed vicar, which was, but I just loved it. I mean, there were scenes in this where I was peering. Well, first of all, I was told by our doctor, and it was a period piece. I was told by the doctor that my wife, who was pregnant, played by Jane Wymark, I was too heavy to have sex with her all the time because she was pregnant. So I was I remember the doctor saying, you're too heavy. And I went, heavy? Disbelief. So then I put my attentions on her sister.
Oh my God.
Played by Julie Dawn-Cole. And we started to have an affair. And it was just wonderful. And there was a scene where I had to make love to Julie Dawn-Cole's feet. And Winston Graham, who wrote the novel, wrote this in specially for me. Anyway, so all week in rehearsals, Julie Dawn-Cole went to Dr. Scholl's to have her feet done. And then on the day we filmed in Pebble Mill in Birmingham, and we had to, we were taken up to Birmingham. We were in the rehearsal, in the studios, and Julie Dawn-Cole was carried onto the set. She'd had her feet washed about 500 times. She was placed on the bed. And then there was a close-up. The shot was a close-up of her feet. And on action, my tongue came between two of her toes. And I loved it. I mean, it was just wonderful. And of course, it got really good ratings. And it was a fabulous series to be involved in.
Yeah.
Really good.
There's a thing now. I'm on it. I've got rated 5 stars.
Oh,
It's called Wikifeetia or something like that.
Really?
Wikifeet. So it's for people with foot fetishes. So you should upload that clip. You are like that generation of all these legends that you've worked with and yourself, like to have these, they don't make them like this anymore.
Well, I think,
the glamour.
I know, it is... I've met some wonderful people and worked with some wonderful people. I mean, it's been an incredible career when I look back on it. And I've, become friends with Dame Joan Collins, who is an extraordinary woman and very, very funny. Like you. I mean, you're funny.
Well, thanks.
And I suppose the most important people in my life, and this for a gay man to say, are women. I adore women. I love being with them. I love chatting with them, and I love laughing with them. And Joan is that woman. I mean, she is, and you are. She is fantastic. No, that's good. And also, there's so many people. I mean, it's been an extraordinary career. And of course, you mentioned earlier about Surprise, Surprise with Cilla Black. I mean, it was a wonderful... I mean, I remember the producer coming to see me in pantomime in... where was I? Anyway, somewhere. Anyway, and he came and offered me this job, co-hosting this show on a Saturday night, a big show called Surprise, Surprise. And at the end of it, we were going, and he said, "You haven't asked who your co-presenter is." And I said, "Oh, no, who is it?" And he said, "Cilla Black." I mean, Cilla Black. I mean, she was a huge, huge star.
Yeah.
She'd given up the business to have 3 children, and she brought them up, which I always admired. She wasn't interested in singing or television or anything. She wanted to bring her children up, who are wonderful children. And so it was so exciting, and we had such a good time. I mean, talk about laughing. Every day we laughed, and it was great. And of course, it was a show with the public.
Yeah.
And we both loved the public. And I think that's another, I don't know about you, but I don't mind people coming up and asking for a selfie or an autograph. That's what we're there for.
Yeah.
I mean, they're paying our wages after all.
True.
And so it's good to be nice with people.
But I think that's one thing that people don't know about you. The decades you've done for charity or your charity work.
Well, I think that's another wonderful thing to be able to do. We're in a position to be able to help people. And I've always loved doing charity work. And it's fun. I mean, I did one at the weekend in Brighton. It was like a talent show, but they were raising money for wonderful different charities and things. And we met at the Variety Club recently. And of course, that's another fantastic charity, the Variety Club.
I actually got some photos out to show you of me because I used to sing in the competitions for the Variety Club.
Did you?
When I was a little girl. And I found some photos of me doing Holiday by Madonna, a Material Girl with the wig on. I'll show you them later.
What's your singing like?
A fantastic singer. She is.
Really?
Genuinely.
Would you have liked to be a singer?
Yeah.
I would have loved it, but I was too shy. Too shy at the time.
What about now?
Well, I want to see a big saggy 40-year-old with 4 kids on the stage.
Yeah, saggy 40-year-old, yeah. Absolutely. I don't know why I'm sitting here. It's repulsive.
No, I would have
You're
loved,
gorgeous.
I would have loved to.
Really?
Yeah. And then I used to record songs for Atomic Kitten. And they'd learn the demos off me. And then
she's got a great voice. And it only really comes out when she's had a few
when I'm pissed.
glasses of wine. But she's an amazing singer.
I love singing.
Oh, I must give you a few glasses of wine.
You'd love to see it.
Funny enough, we were talking earlier about this new documentary, which is on Boyzone.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, you've got to watch it. It's fantastic and very interesting. They're very truthful. They obviously didn't like each other towards the end. And I knew Stephen Gately really well because we did Chitty Chitty Bang Bang together at the Palladium. And I loved him. He was such a nice boy.
Yeah.
Not that the tragedy was he was gay, but the tragedy was he was gay in a pop group, which was adored by little girls, and he didn't know how to cope with it or how to deal with it. So he didn't tell anybody.
Well, it's like George.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it's,
Heartbreaking.
It is heartbreaking because actually sexuality, I mean, I know certain people, I'm not going to mention their names, who are huge stars and still they're in their 80s now and they're still frightened of coming out because they think that the public won't like. Well, of course, it's ridiculous. Yeah, I've never gone out and said, I'm gay, but I've never hidden it. And people have known for the years and years and years that I'm gay. And I think that is positive and good because otherwise you don't have a life because how can you hide it?
Did you struggle as a young lad or not?
No, never.
No, you never struggled.
No, and I was never bullied at school. I never, I was just me. And I think that was the secret of me, was to be me. And I remember I had a best friend called John Brown and we used to go on cross-country runs and we were the last two to come back because we used to walk and pick flowers. And all the other boys were waiting saying, come on, Biggins, come on, Brown, for God's sake.
What's one of your favourite things that you've done? Like, obviously, the panto you do now. I mean, I'm sure. Is there one thing you really love doing?
Panto is, and I've been doing panto now for 48 years.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
And that is quite something. And I love it. And my new producers, or my producers, are fantastic. Michael Harrison is an incredible producer. And he realizes that I'm now 76 and I can't, not as agile. So I fly in now on a moon and do the scene and then fly off again all the time. And I do a bit on the floor where I do put a dress on it or two. I think 4 dresses. It's a very funny moment. And I do that. But I really looked after well. And I really enjoy it. And it's great. And I keep, every year I say, that's it. I'm not going to do any more. I'm going to retire. But I'm a bit like the Frank Sinatra of the pantomime world. I always come back. And I think I might be doing one this year coming up. But, it's I love it. I love the fact that, grandmothers, mothers, aunties, uncles, children, it's wonderful. And really superb entertainment. And everybody loves it.
What's the one thing that stands out to you the most, though?
Do you know, I get asked this question a lot, and it's an easy one to answer. It's I'm a celebrity, get me out of here.
Yeah.
And I tell you why it's so important to me is because it was voted by the public. And you know, I've just recently, when I finished doing pantomime in Woking down the road, I went to the Palladium pantomime with Julian Clary, and they had a guest star every performance playing King John, and you were wheeled on in a carriage pulled by two dancers dressed as glittery horses. It was very funny. And then there was, you know, Julian Clary abuses you and not, you know, just, what's the word I'm looking for? Not physically. No. That would be lovely. No, mentally, you know, but it was just one. And when I went on, I did 4 performances in that last week. The audience reaction was fantastic. And, you know, you think to yourself, my goodness, this is wonderful, you know. And I love the fact that the public, they're great, you know. I don't think the public are asked enough about what they want to watch.
Yeah.
And you know, because I think they are the ones who absolutely run television and films and everything. Because, you know, that it's a very important role. And I love the fact that the public have taken to me for nearly 60 years.
That's incredible when you think about that timeline of 60 years to be.
I know.
In the same industry, top of your game.
Well, it's been
and
wonderful.
Everyone loves you. Like, I don't know one person who's ever said a bad word.
I've got a list here.
I was so excited when you coming on here because I loved you the second I met you.
And you had some lovely. Your sister came on the set, didn't she? She was lovely, and also you had another lovely girlfriend.
Makeup.
Yes,
Helen.
Yeah. You were great.
I only have good people around me now.
Well, that's very important. You know, really is important.
And some good people around you. You've been married since 2006. Is that right?
Yes, I was doing. I had you won't remember Willie Rushton. Willie Rushton was a very funny satirical comedian, and he was a marvelous guy. And he had an Australian girlfriend, and we were doing. I was doing a show. Called The Owl and the Pussycat Went to Sea, SEE ... And it was I played head Jumbly, and my girlfriend was a Jumbly girl, and she was Australian, and she had to stay in this country, and she couldn't stay in this country unless she was married. So we got married. I thought, well, I'll marry her for you. And I'll marry you to be able to stay in this country. And of course, I didn't think about it. You know, we didn't think anything of it. Then, of course, when I was in the jungle in Australia, they suddenly all came out and said, you know, your wife is here.
No way.
And, well, we still knew she was a bit upset by the whole thing. I think it was a little bit of we hadn't really communicated for about 3 decades or something. But it was. I just did it to help her, really. And of course, every time they write about me, they was once married, but it wasn't consummated.
Oh yeah. So people ask us a lot. What is it? Because we've been together 20 years. What is the key to a successful and happy relationship?
Yes.
What would you say it is?
Well, my biggest thing, I think, because Neil, my partner, I don't like. I hate saying my husband. I loathe that. I think that's a heterosexual thing. I absolutely hate it. This is my husband. I throw up. You know, this is my partner, and Neil is unbelievable. He used to work for British Airways. He now looks after me, and he is unbelievably fantastic. He is so hardworking. And the secret, I think, without any doubt, is laughter.
Yeah.
If you can't laugh, sex is all very. I mean, for instance, whenever we go away and stay in a hotel, the first thing I say to them, I want a king size bed. I want I don't want some. I want to be able to kiss someone and say goodnight, what have you. But I don't want someone up against me all night. You know what I mean? I can't bear all
know
that.
what you mean.
And then the other thing I asked for is that I have to have a shower. Because a walk-in shower. Because often you have one up over the bath.
Yeah.
And that's an annoying thing. You have to climb over the bath and all that. So there's two things I asked for in a hotel.
Well, we have a little section on this podcast called the Weekly Wines. Does Neil ever annoy you in some way? I'm sure he does at various points. Is there anything this week that's variously annoyed you?
No, I mean there's one big thing. I'm amazed because Neil was an air steward for British Airways. He's always late. And it drives me mad. Like, for instance, I sit in the car outside the house for sometimes half an hour. And I say, what? And he forgets things, or he goes and puts a cream on. Yeah. And it just drives. And I lie to him all the time. If we're out and we're going out and it's a 7 o'clock start, I say it's a 6 o'clock start.
Yeah.
And we only just arrive in time. I mean, and going to the theatre, which I love, is a nightmare. Have you seen, by the way, Titanic?
No.
You've got to go and see it.
Really?
No.
It's a send-up of Titanic, and it is hysterical. It's on at the Criterion.
I took the kids to see Mrs. Doubtfire the other day.
Oh, isn't that great?
Fabulous.
Really wonderful. Did they love it?
Loved it.
Yes.
We love going to the theatre.
Yeah, we like it a lot.
Yeah. Well,
we go to a little Italian in the area and then go to a show.
I go to the theatre all the time. My best friend, we've been friends for 50 years, is Cameron McIntosh, who is the big producer. And I'm on his list, and I go to every first night. He's got 8 theatres in London.
Fabulous.
And then I go to all the other... going to a first night is great because you make up your own mind. You're not influenced by critics.
Yeah.
And you can make up your own mind. And I'm really excited.
Well, if you need a +1.
Yeah,
Think of me. I'll come.
Nowadays, I mean, you go to the theatre. When I used to go to the theatre years ago, you could go for £20.
Yes, fortune now.
And now it's nearly £200, £300. And I think it's wrong. I think it's ridiculous. It's like, years ago, I love going to the ballet and the opera, but that was so expensive. Now, theatre is even more expensive. And there was a boy recently in Romeo and Juliet who was playing Romeo, and he was Spider-Man, I think.
Oh, Tom Holland.
Yes, and he was in it. It was packed, and the tickets were £200-300.
I interviewed Luke Evans on my other podcast that I want you to come on that, actually, like a life story one, Exhibit A, and he was in the theatre. Luke. He started in theatre.
He's a great friend of mine. He's such a nice boy. And it was a wonderful play which was about the Queen Mother, and he was the butler to the Queen Mother. And in real life, we knew the real butler.
Yeah.
Who was so, so funny. There's a marvellous story. He was gay, and the Queen Mother wouldn't do anything without him. She absolutely was, he was her key to life. And he was caught bringing a rent boy back to Clarence House where the Queen Mother lived. So he gave his notice in. And to the Queen and all the royal family. And this was on the Sunday. And on the Monday morning, the phone went at about 7:45 in the morning, and it was the Queen saying, Billy, now, it's all very unfortunate. You shouldn't bring these people back to Mummy's house. But I'm afraid you can't leave her. She'll always be here. You will always be with my mummy, and you will look after her. So we'll close the subject. Put the phone down. Ring, ring. Philip here. Now, very unfortunate stuff, but don't do this thing again. But can't accept your resignation. You will stay because Mummy needs you. Phone goes down. Charles rings. Diana rings. All the royal family rang, and he was. I mean, he didn't leave her, and unfortunately, he wasn't treated very well by the royal family. But still, that's he was. When the Queen Mother died, he was asked to leave. He had a little house in Clarence. I suppose that people move on, but he was absolutely wonderful. He used to get so drunk, and you go out to dinner with him, and he was suddenly you look round, his face was in the food, absolutely paralytic.
Right, let's get into the wines, shall we? Right, hi, Abbey and Pete, Biggins. I want to whine about why boyfriends text like they're under investigation. I can send my boyfriend a 3-paragraph message about how my day is going, only for him to reply with, okay, or even the dreaded passive-aggressive thumbs-up emoji. Meanwhile, in the lads' group chat, he's typing full-blown essays about whether Messi could beat up a gorilla. Please make it make sense.
Well, I think, I mean, I'm very much like, I only reply with a thumbs up or a yes or a no, because I find it very tedious. I mean, you know, it's not my game. I think it's my age, I think, you know. I can't bear to write a long essay is to me so boring and a waste of time.
Do you like a phone call?
I love a phone call.
So do I.
I really love a phone call. Interestingly enough, we've got rid, about 3 or 4 years ago, our mainline phone at home because we never use it because we all use mobiles.
Yeah.
And I remember about 20 years ago, someone was telling me that, you know, the day will come when we'll all have a phone and a number which we can use all over the world. And you sort of laugh. You thought, this is never going to happen.
Yeah.
And of course, that's exactly what life's all about now. We just have that one machine, which sometimes I hate. I really do. And, you know, it's like emails, and you have to answer the email. I'd much rather talk to the person
Same.
than actually use the fingers to type
I've got
something.
about 6,000 unopened emails.
That's why you didn't write me back.
I'm terrible. I like a phone call or a voice note.
Yeah, you love that.
You don't reply to anybody.
I don't like to talk to anyone, really, I've got my people, and I'm happy with that.
Yeah, that's true.
And are your best friends golfers?
Yeah, I play a lot of golf with my friends,
Yeah.
What do you play? About every day?
No, God, no. Once a week. I've got 4 children.
Right.
Won't go away with that. Once, maybe twice a week.
I don't mind you playing. Play when you want.
You don't mind him playing?
No.
No, I think it's great.
Makes them happy.
That's why he's so thin. All that walking. People say to me, you should be a golfer. Oh, no. Too boring.
Do you not do golf?
No,
I think
too
it's
boring.
so dull. Okay, so recently I've moved to a new area, and with that comes the dreaded task of finding a new hairdresser. Tudor Bob Ross, that's what we call our Rosses, is Tudor Bob.
Looks like he's got a Tudor Bob.
He's out the room. Tudor Bob Ross knows what I'm talking about. I go in with a clear request, just a little trim, and somehow they've decided that means chopping all my hair off, giving me a random fringe and layering it like I've just stepped out of 2004. My reflection is now a cautionary tale. How do I tell him just to follow the brief without sounding like I'm about to take legal action?
Yeah, I know this. I totally understand this. Quite often I've gone in there and just want to trim it.
You've come up with like Deirdre Barlow.
It's always shorter than you want it. Every time.
Well, I am so old-fashioned, it's not true. I was discussing this recently. I go and have my...
You go to the hair thing, don't you?
What?
Did you go to the hair thing?
What's
What
the
hair thing?
Don't you get all their hair taken away?
What are you trying to say?
I thought you went to like a parlour, get all your hair trimmed.
No, I see, yes, that I do. You're right, absolutely. But I tell you, first of all, I go and have a manicure and a pedicure.
Yes,
Which I love.
So do
absolutely love. And there's a hairdresser's there. And my hairdresser, this is very near where we live. It's near Tower Bridge. And my hairdresser, though, is in Paddington. And I absolutely love him. And I said to Neil, I wonder if I should have my hair. He said, no. You know what you like. And he's right. If you have a good hairdresser, whatever you do, you travel and you go there, and I will not have anybody else do my hair. And that's very, very important. But I do go, you're quite right. I have, my pet hate is nasal hair.
Yeah.
I loathe nasal hair.
So do I.
So what I do is I go to a man who does my nasal hair. So he does other parts of your body. But when I first went, I said, no. Then he said, what about if we do your crack? So I said, well, what does it involve? He said, well, you get a doggy position and you'll start naked, by the way. This is a wonderful, visually, this must be wonderful for some people. There must be perverts out there. Anyway, so I go and I lie on my tummy, start naked, and he does my shoulders. And then he says, right, now doggy position. So I get up doggy, and he goes up the what's it and takes, it's not it's sort of like it's not. What
Is
are
it
they?
sugar wax?
Yeah, sugaring. I won't have my pubes round the penis taken off there because I like hair there.
A little bit of manscaped.
Yeah, I don't like it when there's no. I mean, it looks hideous. It looks like some sort of awful snake or something, you know. And it's a very he does trim round the balls a little bit, and then I have my chest done now. And it takes about 45 minutes. And Sean, who does is in Piccadilly, and he's brilliant. And you really feel clean after it. You know, it's a wonderful feeling.
Yeah.
So I do all that, and I go to the same hairdresser he's absolutely brilliant, and I wouldn't go anywhere else.
Well, there you go. Don't change your hairdresser. Is the key thing.
I can understand why women though take a hairdresser like. The Queen, the present Queen, her best friend is a hairdresser, and he goes everywhere with her. If she's going abroad, he'll travel with her because I think it's important for women to have the same hairdresser.
My sister does my hair.
And she travels with you too, doesn't she?
She does, but she ditched me today.
Okay, what is it with people thinking they can manifest their way through life, or even worse, giving me advice on how to manifest myself? So I just think really hard about getting a pay rise. Money will magically appear in my bank account. Babe, the only thing I've ever successfully manifested is a hangover. I'm going to need more than good vibes to fix my life. Thoughts on manifesting?
What's that mean?
There's a whole new trend now of people, you know, like they have a vision board and they manifest and they go, I want to marry a millionaire. I want to win the lottery.
And they do.
No, they don't.
Well, yeah, but this is a huge thing.
It's basically positive thinking. It's positive thinking, and the science behind it. This positive thinking should change how you live your life. So if you want to be the CEO of a company, you can't go out, get drunk every night and lay in bed all day. You have to proactively.
Well, as a 76-year-old gay man, I think that statement is rubbish.
Yeah.
I mean, absolute rubbish. I mean, it's all very well to think, wouldn't it be nice to win the lottery? But you can't say I'm going to win the lottery and then turn around and think, why didn't I win it Friday or whatever day it is? You know, I just think it's, in a way, it takes a fantasy too far.
Yeah.
You know, and I think now I understand what manifest means now. So I think you can't, it's like magic. You can't manifest it, you know, to all the degrees you want to do it.
No.
But having a goal, I mean, obviously having a goal.
Yeah, a goal is...
That's different.
Yeah.
That's what she's saying. You can't just go, right, I'm going to win the lottery and stay in bed all day.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Or I want to be the boss of the company. You have to work hard to get there.
I mean, we've just done this Marks and Spencer's gig, which was fun, and we fell in love. We had a good time, and we met some interesting people. But the CEO of Marks and Spencer's, Stuart Machin,
Oh, I love him.
he's phenomenal.
Yeah, phenomenal.
And I know him I've never met anybody who works so hard. And he's turned Marks and Spencer's round. He is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, he's phenomenal.
And I think to the detriment of his life, because
That's
his life is Marks and Spencer's. I mean, he even at the weekend, you know, or finding time to do other things, he finds it quite difficult because he is obsessed with making Marks and Spencer's the biggest. And what is great, because he was very much their big store in Oxford Street, Marble Arch, is falling to bits. And the government, the Conservative government, wouldn't allow him to do the work that he wanted to do, like pull it down and rebuild it in the style to which it is now. It literally, the cafe there was mold. It was just disgusting. And luckily, now, one of the good things the new government have done is actually give him permission. And he's now they're going to develop that building and it'll be fantastic. But he is obsessed. He is extraordinary. I've never met anybody like him.
No, quite often, the most successful men are obsessed, aren't they? And
I think they are.
To the detriment of their lives.
Yeah. 100%.
I mean, it's exciting that people are. Thank God people are. I suppose it's like politicians too, who are obsessed with doing good things. I wish they would do the good things. That's the only downside.
And just not talk about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, we got some agony abs here.
Yes.
Biggins, if you don't mind helping, because this is where the people really need help. Hey guys, apology if this is a bit crude, Ab, but I'm in dire need of some girly advice and I'm running out of people to turn to. I live with a horny banshee.
It's a horny banshee.
My housemate brings home a new conquest every other night. And I have to listen to her scream like she's in the middle of an Oscar-worthy performance. It's gotten to the point where I can almost quote the noises, the grunts, the gasps, the random shouts of, oh God, yes. The other night, she literally knocked a lamp over. I can't sleep, I can't concentrate, and I definitely can't look her in the eye at breakfast. Do I say something, or do I start blasting Gregorian chanting through the walls to drown her out? Help me.
Move.
Yeah, exactly.
This is a housemate.
Well, yeah, but I mean, why? She's paying him rent, is she?
Well, there's two. I imagine it's two girls.
Oh, it's two girls.
Two girls sharing a house.
She's bringing fellas home.
But then who owns the house, I wonder then? We don't know.
No, they're renting it together.
Oh, they're renting it together. Well, I wouldn't stay. I would rather be out living on the streets than have that.
I would.
I mean, I can't bear all that. I don't think it's real. Is it?
No. Don't ask me. I've only done it 4
It's never
times.
happened to have.
The only lamp that's been knocked over in this house is one I've thrown at him.
No, I think
Cheers, babe.
you certainly shouldn't put up with that. I mean, life is too short. I mean, and also, why doesn't she say to her, listen, enough's enough, go to his place?
Exactly, because it's a different one every night.
Yes. She
Yeah.
must be. I wonder what she looks like.
She must be hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know what the men look like. Might both be rough as old boots. Or mine's gone to this incredible scenario. It's probably two old fucking shockers.
Yeah.
All right,
I love it.
Move was I think was it.
Move. Tell them to get out. They want a new roommate.
Yeah. Right, okay. Hi, Abbey Biggins. So I know you have a slight penchant for conspiracy theories, Abby. So maybe this question is more for Pete, but I'm also intrigued to see what you all think. Basically, my boyfriend is morphing into a tinfoil, hat-wearing, ick-inducing conspiracy nut.
Icking.
Ick-inducing.
What's your icks? What gives you the ick? It's the new word.
Does it mean sick? Yes.
That makes you a bit queasy about your, partner.
Queasy about my partner?
Yeah,
It doesn't have to be about...
it does, it ick.
Or a
usually.
man. See, for me, a terrible run on a man is an ick.
A terrible what?
Run.
What do you mean run?
Like a weak run.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
I
something
see.
that you just think, ooh. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
My friend's one is men's earlobes blowing in the wind.
Could be like a really limp handshake, or
Yes.
someone who doesn't look you in the eye, or
Well, I suppose a tiny penis, would be.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting it.
A micro penis.
Oh,
That'd be pretty ick.
My friend showed me a micro penis the other day. Have you seen them? Have you seen one?
No.
Oh my God. Google it.
yeah.
little button mushroom.
Oh, no.
Terrible.
Awful.
Terrible.
Now, that is, over the years, I've encountered things like that, and it's so disappointing. You don't know what, or terribly thin like a finger, Oh, God. What do you do with it? Very little.
Put it back in its underpants. Send it away.
Put it back.
I have to say that one of the things of getting older is it gets smaller.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
But everything else gets bigger.
I know.
Your ears, your nose, your feet.
But it is. I don't know what. I think it must be. I must talk to my doctor about it because it does. It does get
When we first met, he was normal. Now he believes in the moon landing was faked. 5G is controlling our thoughts, and the Queen was a lizard. Rest in peace, but he's still convinced. I can handle the occasional Reddit rabbit hole, but last night he told me birds aren't real. I thought he was joking. He was not joking. I cannot be in a long-term relationship with someone who thinks pigeons are government drones. Do I break up with him or just accept I'm dating David Icke's spiritual son?
Leave him!
Leave him.
My God, what an arsehole.
He sounds like he's on drugs.
Do you believe that pigeons potentially could be controlled by the government?
No.
No.
Absolutely not.
No.
I mean, he's demented. He should go to a mental institution.
Agreed.
No, we don't want him around anywhere.
No.
Okay.
That's an easy get rid.
Get her on the phone immediately.
Okay. Fair enough.
Okay. Hey, I'm desperate. I need some advice on my boyfriend's bedroom antics. Now, luckily, the sex is generally great. However, recently, he's become a little bit zealous with some noises he's making as the bonk beats are playing. So bonk beats are, it's like a playlist of what you would, one of our listeners wrote in about what music they think you to. It's all very, the tones are really lowered now.
It's where we are.
I love a confident man, I really do, but my boyfriend sounds like he's in the final boss fight of a video game every time we have sex. We're talking full-on cinematic groans, deep sighs, and the occasional, oh. That makes me question if I'm even needed in the room. I tried dropping hints, babe, maybe tone it down before the neighbours file a noise complaint. But he took it as encouragement, and now we sound like we're filming a porno in Dolby surround sound. Do I fake a sudden case of hearing loss or sit him down and say, less Leonardo DiCaprio in Titanic, a more silent assassin, please, Anon?
Well, I think it's the trouble is that people who make sounds like that when they're having sex, the ego is so big. And I think they want to prove that they're doing something. Whereas, you can do things much less with volume.
Vocal.
Exactly. And I think that's a real problem. And I don't like it when it's like that. I mean, yes, you can sometimes, if it is really one of you can let out a sort of scream or what have you, or, to say thank you very much. But I mean, to do it constantly, I think it's almost proving something that he's trying to prove something, that it is good. And he's probably thinking of going to play golf with his friend next door.
Exactly right.
Essentially.
I think it's an ick.
Yeah, I think it's an ick.
I'd tell him to shut up.
All right, well, listen, it's been a long time coming, this. Because it really has, because Abby's talked about you so much since you did the show together. You obviously really hit it off, and I appreciate you coming on.
You are my one man I'd elope with. Isn't he?
Yeah, no, she's a big fan.
I would love that. I mean, should we tell him now? No, I mean, it's great. And I tell you what I love about you is that you're so real, Abby. And you talked about your children. You're a family person. You obviously love your husband, which I think is great. Now I'm in your home. I can see that everything is important to you. And you're not living a ridiculous dream. You are in reality as a real person. And that, I think, is wonderful.
Thank you. You're the best.
Yeah, we really appreciate you coming on. And it's been a pleasure.
Have you got any juicy, glamorous stories to tell us before you go? One more before we let you out.
I'm just trying to think. I don't think I could really say. I have no filter. And I get into trouble sometimes by saying things.
So do I.
And, people come back at you. And there are. But I think we'll have to do it over a lovely glass of rosé.
Perfect.
Or red wine and no microphones. And I will tell you some really
We don't want to get you cancelled at age 76. Can you imagine?
To be honest, you've got this far.
You've got this far. Come on the therapy couch, you get cancelled.
And I'd love to sue you.
Well, thank you again for coming on.
Oh, thank you. I really enjoyed it. Thank you very much.